Now this is a bit harder to control because we introduced a lot of bevels, but it's not too bad. Select all of that there, move it, loop cut at one here, hand cut from here to there. Cool. And that's clean, and it already is getting us there. Move all of it a bit forward and move this selection of all backwards again. Cool, cool. We have on my other piece like this sideways sleeve, so let's do it really quickly. How would I do it? I'll probably select a bigger selection like this, Control D, move, and I'm just kind of like moving it by like, I don't know, I'm just predicting where it should be. Like, we can see that a piece clips into a piece, you know, and we want to clip it not like on the surface or anything like that, but we want to consider that this might be actual like leaves, pieces of metal that were forged and welded together and like placed in an intricate way like this by some like real craftsman in this fictional world that we're creating. When we have that into consideration, it just makes us create shapes that are a bit more down to earth, even though what we're making is still fantastical and made up. So there we go. And maybe I'll move it here and then extrude once and like that, because on the other one it really has this nice kind of like loop there. So like that, and this, move that, move this. I'm kind of speed running it here, but you can see that the footage is as it is. We've not sped up anything artificially. So it just shows how kind of like quickly the iteration and the fun of this is. I kind of want to show an edge. There we go, because that makes it just a bit actually more realistic. Otherwise, if this edge perfectly clips into the other piece, like the dimensionality is lost really. And we don't want to lose our dimensionality. So yeah, a bit more dimensional this way. Cool. Next up, I'm thinking that this can be selected and slit down, and that gives it more of like a refined edge like the other. And so could these lower parts. Up, and there we go. And now the lower part is hidden down there, but I can tell you for certain that even though it's hidden, we want to select these parts and want to bevel them in order to see, like give it like actual depth. And then maybe we scale in to do that. Perfect. So yeah, the next step I think I would have done then is I moved a copy of this and I just scale it down and I place it like this. Maybe for some visual interest, I'll just select these vertices and I'll just slide them in. Oops, excuse me, like that. And it gives it a bit more like interest really. I might do that on the front piece as well, if I'm completely frank with you. There we go, not too much, but just a little. So that's perfect there. And that leaves us to the final step. Well, let me fix that for us here. I will move that like this. The final step is to make us a spike. And that spike, I do my subdivision modifier. Let us not start from scratch, but instead move that, flatten it to a 0. And then the selection mesh separate selection, and this F2 to rename, and we rename to spike 1. These top parts we could rename to roof gold 1 and roof gold 2. We have the shield, we have leaves, yes, perfect. We select these and we move it down a bit. We scale it, we move that in, and then we extrude up. But after we extrude up, we want to check face orientation and see, no, everything is good. If it were red, then it would mean that things are bad and we need to recalculate normals. We don't need to, so we can keep going on. So I want to dissolve this loop here and this, because I want to start a as simple as I could. Having them loops there that I had would prove to get in my way otherwise. So I'll extrude once like that and I'll move up. So let's start defining a spike. We move it a bit back and this a bit in. And these, by the way, when I make a selection like that and I move up, I'm pretty sure that I make a face in there. There it is, yes I do. And that breaks stuff. So select them faces and delete them. Cool. And we go to the side view. And again, here this spike can be as large and intricate and shaped as you want to. You don't really need to kind of like follow what I have. I will do kind of like guide myself from my other one. And yeah, you do yours in a way that you think is cool for you. Because that's where the fun is. Do that and then slide that. Cool. So a bit silly looking for now, but we are getting there, I assure you. So we're going to select this, and I think I cannot really bevel it to give it an edge, which is like tricky, but it's okay. I will just move it there for now. Here on the lower parts, I think I'll select this and delete it. And then this I'm going to slide in order to make the geometry a bit more predictable with a nice flow. There we go. And I want to select this loop and then bevel it, but I want to bevel it once, not twice. And select them and slide them around. Select these and scale them. I want these, but without, well, let's fix this first. Outwards. I want just this front part. I'm selecting something that's kind of invisible there, by the way, if you're wondering. And I want to move them in, and this loop I want to bevel. And then slide. Not slide up, but move up. And there we go. I keep making a mess here, but that's okay. Select it and I move it too much, like there. I go here and let's clean up even more. So select that. Move it out. Move it somewhere there. Don't need to be incredibly precise. Move it down. Cool. Nice, and then let's see. Select that, go in this view and do that. Select these and move them like that. Here, select that face, go to this mode, and then kind of rotate it. Do you see like that rotation there? Kind of do that, and then boom. And then I can select these, scale it. I'm kind of making an imperfect copy now, but you get the idea. And I've made a mess again. So I disable everything. And these faces here, these two, they're really needless. So I'll delete them. And then here, this entire loop, I want it to be flat like that on the green axis. If I go from above, yeah, it needs to be perfect. And then enable this again and enable our subdivision again. So we're getting there, but now I can see that this side needs to be a bit inwards, otherwise it looks silly. This loop as well, and it's starting to kind of like refine and really define, I guess is the word, for our inward piece. And we really want to end up on a point like that, but I'm not gonna push it incredibly much where like it breaks like that. I'll keep it like this. There we go. Slide that and then extrude once and then move it like this. Cool. Go in this mode and again check if there needs to be a cleanup. Yes, delete that face. Enable that. Cool. So let's see. Yeah, so we're still in that stage of this spike of what I was describing early in the video, where it looks a bit like Play-Doh. It's overly soft, but we're getting there. So let's refine the shapes a tiny bit more. I will try to be relatively quick through this. Let's slide that like this. And now, like, what the other spike has is like, it has these parts here, kind of from the side going in like that, while the front goes out a bit, and that really gives it like that spicy, not spicy, but that spiky appearance. There we go. And if we isolate, we can select that face and then move it a bit out. Cool. We want these in. We wanna select that and kind of like do this. We want two loops here, one in the middle. We can kind of like distort. Select that, go in. Select this and go this way, this, that way. Actually, I'm gonna look at my side one and yeah, do all of this because it makes it a bit easier to manipulate. I actually think that this is a bit too low poly looking. My tower has a very elegant kind of like approach to it because it's a mage tower. So I actually think that a bit more softness, like what we're accomplishing here, probably is better. So that just goes to, again, repeat what I was saying a bit ago, that you can do the things the way you want to. You don't need to stop yourself, limit yourself to what I'm making and the way I'm making it. Okay, so what I'm noticing next is that, first let's fix that. Okay, is that here at the base, if we select this, well, if we select that actually, and then, by the way, sometimes I do soft select. I don't think I've used it in the video so far, but it's very convenient. So like I do soft select and then I wheel my mouse in to lower the amount, and then I can do like this. I move to the side and see how it does like a selection of quite a few faces. It makes a crack in the middle, but don't worry about that. It's fine because after we've moved the other vertices where we want them, we can always select these. There we go. You can hear the Liverpool FC parade outside. I apologize for that. If you hear any fireworks or drums, it's because of Liverpool FC. Cool. So let's refine more. Okay, we're nearly getting there. I want to kind of wrap it up, but let's not try to rush too much. Fix that flow. And then I'm thinking that after we fix it a bit better like this, what we can do is we can insert a loop cut right in the middle. There we go. And that immediately gave us, do you see how like this is soft? It gave us like an actual more defined edge, which is brilliant. Now I want to fix this here in the middle already, if I'm being honest. So to fix that, I will have easier time if the mirror is actually applied. And with the mirror applied, I can then merge these vertices. Then I can select them. And what we really want is for that selection of vertices, maybe deselect this final part and this one for the time being. If I have this selected, next I'm gonna bevel and this will kind of like limit my bevel amount and I don't wanna be limited. So select just the way I did it there and then bevel it ever so slightly like that. See, and that immediately give it like an actual dimensionality, which is really nice. And with that being the case, I can either leave it as it is here or I can like try to clean it up a bit. I don't think I will. Maybe I'll do this to like give it better support, but that's about it. I go in the side view and now I have to remember that I need to select on both sides here and on the left because I applied the mirror, so I need to always be in X-ray, otherwise I will like make mistakes. I select this and I move it like that. I select that and I go like this. And because the mirror is applied, I can also zoom in there and try to stuff and try to see if there's anything that needs to be fixed here. I don't think there is, but like I can move that there. Cool. Next up, see how this also has dimensionality on this side. We're missing that, so I want to select this and I want to select that, but deselect the tips because of the before mentioned reasons. Like if we have that selected, it will limit our bevel and we don't want to be limited too much. And we bevel like so, maybe just one and maybe smaller like so. Go out and that looks cool. Here there's a peculiar type of curve that maybe doesn't really look cool, so maybe we want to just dissolve this entire thing. Sometimes simplifying by dissolving really is helpful. Next up, this we can select all of it and then kind of flatten it. Sometimes I fix my flow by flattening stuff and then rotating, and then I can move it like that, right here, quite a bit, and then I can bevel it. And I leave it to something like this, and it immediately gives me that kind of like thingy that I have going on there. If I decide that this is not enough of like dimensionality, I could select the loop cut and insert another one. Cool. So yeah, we're kind of nearly there. There are some key differences in like this has more of a loop, mine doesn't. Also, the other one has like the front part selected like this and it goes like out. It's rather cool, so maybe we want to do that. Go out like that. You can always select these and move it out. Brilliant. And here I could do that thing I said, flatten on the z-axis, move out a bit, it breaks it, then bevel once, twice, twice, but maybe don't go nearly as crazy. There we go. And see, like, oh my god, you know what, we're getting there, even if we didn't believe at first. But yeah, just always believe, I guess, in yourself. Let's select the back part, back plate, and go back like this, because this one also has a bit of it, and I think it kind of is cool. We can always go out like that. We go to the side and maybe we rotate a bit like this, because it makes it nicer, you know, and leave it like that, and then select up to like up to here, this point, and bevel, right? And that bevel, maybe we want to do twice. Okay, and something is happening here that I don't like. Why is that hard? Select both, and yeah, there we go. When we go out, it fixes a bit. So select these, sorry, select the vertices only, and go out until it fixes. Yep, perfect. I like it. Well, we did it a lot compared to the other one, but again, maybe we like it more like this. So select these, fix them in, select these, make sure that you're selecting everything on the back side as well, and again, and yeah, that's cool. So the leaves, they're much a bit better than mine here, but I don't let that worry me too much. I